the heart of a remote countryside, nestled within the vast expanse of an old and mysterious farm, lay a dark and enigmatic secret. At the heart of the property, veiled beneath a shroud of whispers and hidden beneath the veil of history, was a shadowy lake. Little did anyone know that within its inky depths, the farm held secrets that were both ancient and sinister. As the story unfolds, the eerie truth of this dark and ominous body of water is destined to be revealed. Mr. Gasper was a man of few words but very wealthy, owning many properties. He inherited a farm that had been in his family for many generations. The property was full of green fields, large trees, and an old farmhouse whose walls held secrets and stories from time immemorial. However, what drew the most attention on those lands was a lake. It wasn't the largest, but it was undoubtedly the most mysterious. Its waters were dark and deep, and even on the hottest summer days, a cold mist hung over it. Local residents, whenever they passed by, cast fearful glances and hurried their steps. Stories were told of a woman who drowned in that lake. It was said that she was betrayed by her lover, and in her sadness, she threw herself into the icy waters, disappearing forever. But like any good legend, the story didn't end there. Many claimed that on a full moon night, the woman could be seen walking by the lake, her drenched dress and empty eyes always searching for something or someone. Mr. Gasper, though not superstitious, felt a shiver down his spine whenever he looked at that lake. He knew there was something more than just fish and algae in its waters. That night, the moon was particularly bright, illuminating the farm with a silvery glow. Mr. Gasper, after a long day of work, retired early, seeking the comfort of his bed and the silence of the night to rest. However, the silence was interrupted by a sound that made his heart race: footsteps. They came from the barn, rhythmic and heavy, as if someone or something was purposefully walking. Cautiously, Mr. Gasper got up, grabbed a lantern, and, more out of caution than courage, armed himself with his old shotgun, heading towards the barn. As he approached, he noticed something that turned his stomach. Wet footprints starting at the barn's entrance and extending toward the lake. They were bare footprints, and the water oozing from them had an almost black hue. Taking a deep breath and trying to stay calm, Mr. Gasper decided to follow the footprints. He needed to know who or what was on his property. Most importantly, he needed to understand the connection between those mysterious footprints and the legend of the drowned woman. As Mr. Gasper got closer to the lake, the fog became denser, enveloping him in a cold, damp shroud. The lantern's light barely penetrated the mist, but it was enough for him to spot a figure by the lake's edge. It was her, the woman from the legend. Her drenched dress clung to her slender body, and her long, wet hair hung over her pale face, concealing her eyes. She didn't seem to notice Mr. Gasper's presence and remained motionless, gazing at the dark waters. Before he could take another step toward her, the woman began to walk slowly towards the lake. Mr. Gasper tried to call out to her, but his voice was swallowed by the mist. In a moment that felt like an eternity, the woman disappeared into the water, leaving only the trace of her dress and a distant echo of lament. Mr. Gasper, disturbed and afraid, decided it would be best not to tell anyone about what he had seen. But deep down, he knew it wouldn't be the last time he would encounter the Lady of the Lake. The following days were marked by constant restlessness for Mr. Gasper. With each sunrise and sunset, the woman's figure appeared in different places on the farm, always close to the lake. She never seemed to notice his presence, but before her appearance, a freezing chill and an otherworldly silence would descend. Mr. Gasper, though frightened, felt a strange compassion for the woman. In her eyes, he saw profound sadness and an unfulfilled desire. Determined to understand the purpose of these apparitions, Mr. Gasper tried several times to communicate with her. He called out and attempted to approach her, but she always vanished before he could reach her. However, in one of these attempts, something different happened. When he called her, the woman slowly turned in his direction, fixing her empty eyes on his. Though she didn't speak a word, Mr. Gasper felt she was trying to convey a message, a mysterious request he was determined to decipher. Mr. Gasper began to search through the old records of the farm and talk to the elders of the region, wanting to unravel the mysteries surrounding the Lady of the Lake. In an old diary that belonged to his grandfather, he found a mention of a young woman named Clara who had disappeared near the lake. The story told that Clara had been promised in marriage to a man she didn't love. In her despair over the situation, she sought refuge in the lake's waters. Talking to Mrs. Eva, the eldest matriarch of the village, Mr. Gasper discovered more details. Clara was in love with another man, a young farm worker. When her fiancé discovered the romance, in a fit of jealousy, he killed Clara's young lover and threatened to do the same to her. Desperate and with no way out, Clara saw the lake as her only means of escaping her tragic fate. Understanding the depth of her pain and the reason for her apparitions, Mr. Gasper felt he needed to help Clara find the peace denied to her in life. With the truth revealed, Mr. Gasper sought ancient rituals of the region to free Clara's tormented spirit. Under the light of the full moon, by the edge of the lake, he prepared a circle of white flowers and lit candles, reciting ancestral words that invoked peace and passage. As the words echoed, Clara's figure emerged from the waters, her sad gaze now filled with hope. At the end of the ritual, a gentle breeze blew, extinguishing the candles, and the lake's waters stirred slightly. When the calm returned, Clara was no longer there. Mr. Gasper, with tears in his eyes, felt a profound sense of gratitude and relief. He had restored peace to a lost soul. The farm, now free from the sadness that had enveloped it, seemed more vibrant and luminous. Mr. Gasper knew that in some way Clara would always be there, grateful and at peace.